Hello, viewers, and welcome to another interesting episode of Family Circle where we discuss everything family, restoring family values. My name remains Shirley Murphy, and as always, I always have my fabulous around, and of course, other co hosts. But today, fabulous is around and around somewhere. All right, we will not be having fabulous today because she is actually on a journey somewhere. Okay, so we'll be having our guest in the studio with us, and she is no other than the amazing, the remarkable. Wow, this woman, she is one in a million, I would say. Pastor Dorothy Ross. She is the founder, Women Rocking Life. You can see her that she is rocking life at her age. In fact, if she get to tell you how old she is, you will know that she is actually rocking life. And she's also the founder, Porch Talk Worldwide, where you come on the porch and you talk about everything taking you back to, down the memory lane as in when you started. So this woman, she's just a fantastic woman. And she is a trainer, a coach, and so much more. Today we'll be discussing on the interesting topic. Love. Love makes the world go round. But this time around, we are looking into the spices that makes love more loving. All right, we'll be looking at intentionally investing in your love life as a married couple. Please take note as a married couple. So you don't, if you're not married, you don't begin to, quote us and use that in one way or the other wrongly. Anyway, we are talking to the married couples. So welcome with me. She is already here, Pastor Dorothy Ross. Good to have you.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here. I'm telling you, people can't invite me on their shows because I love to talk. I
Yeah.
love to talk and I love to share. So thank you for inviting me on today.
Thank you so very much for honoring our invitation. And I know this is the second time that you are being here, and we
Yeah.
really enjoyed the last time that you were here. And of course, you know, I know who you are, and I leave the viewers to also judge because you are always talking. You're always on the porch, and today is my turn to put you on the porch.
Yes.
All
Well,
right. So very quickly, Ma, can you tell us a bit more about yourself, how your growing up was like for you?
um, actually, let's see. I was listening to something the other day, and somebody said, who are you? Who are you? And I have to tell people that one, I'm a pastor, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I'm a great grandmother. Okay. But I'm a sister, I'm a aunt, I'm so many things to so many people. And I'm honored that I'm still here and I can share who I am and what I am with other people. Now, what I do is I love to uplift people. Okay. So I love speaking into the life of other people that maybe having a hard time or have lost their direction or they're looking for where it is they need to go. And I always say that I have an ear to hear. So I'm a listener. I
Mm,
listen to what people have to say. And if they want, then I will give them my opinion or my conversation, but I'll always ask first. That's who I am.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I missed to mention that place, that fact about you that you are a great grandmom.
Oh,
In
God.
fact, you every time when I look at you and I begin to say, how did she do it? From when to when, from what age to where, that you are still looking this Take away. Even at your age.
Well, well, I started. I had my first child when I was 17, and
Okay.
now we can turn that around because I'm 71. Okay,
Wow.
and my prayer when I pray is, Lord, allow me to grow old gracefully.
Yeah.
And I'm always asking him to take my concerns, take my challenges, take my struggles upon him so that
Mm.
I can be free. I don't want them. I don't want to
Mm.
carry that heavy load, but I know he's got a back where he can carry it. I can't carry it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as long as I'm not stressed out, I'm not frustrated or struggling with anything, then guess what? There's no reason why I can't grow old gracefully.
Absolutely. I can see the grace radiating on your life. I
Thank,
celebrate you, ma'am,
thank,
always. All right. So now, as a pastor, as a counselor, and of course, a great grandmom, you know, with over 50 years of marriage, I know your husband, recently passed. But before now, I want you
okay.
to share, how can married couples intentionally go about spicing their love life, because you are, like they would say, an elder statesman or elder stateswoman in this matter. you know you have experienced it for a number, in fact, over a very long time in relationship with your husband before he passed. What would be those spices that married couples need to introduce to their love life?
Well, I was married for 52 years.
Wow.
And for me, I'm going to say that my um, love emotions, I'll call them love emotions, they just increased as I got older. Okay. But
Hmm.
what I found out is with young people is that it's when the sex goes out of the relationship, then they're ready to move on. Okay. But you have to make a decision that in relationships, we're going to argue. We're not going to always agree upon things, whether it be money or vacations or what to buy, or it doesn't make a difference. Okay. And I always say that someone has to have enough sense in the relationship to die in order to keep the relationship going. Sometimes you have to pick
Hmm.
your fight, you have to pick the battle that you want to fight. Okay. And keep it moving. And everything is not about sex. It's not, I remember me and my husband had a really, really, really heated argument. And the next day it was over with for him, but I was kind of like still holding on to it. And he was trying to be playful or what have you. And I said, you know what? Can we sit down and just have a conversation? We need
Hmm.
to work this thing out. Now, let me tell you something. It ain't been peaches and cream the whole time. Because in the beginning, it was and that was before being a pastor. It was a whole lot of cussing and fussing. Okay, I'm just gonna call it what it is. I mean, I don't mean bad words, calling him out of his
Hmm.
name or
Hmm.
what have you. That's not what I mean. You
Hmm.
know, and but then I learned how to pray about things. Okay, I learned how to walk away, give the conversation a rest, and come back, and then we talk about it and figure it out. Okay. And a lot of it was money. My husband never liked to save money. Oh my God.
Hmm.
Now he took care of the house. Now he took care of the household. We had that down pat. But when it came to any extra money, mm-mm, mm-mm. He was going just the way he got it. That's just the way he spent it. And my husband was a chef. Okay. So he made a decent salary, and all I required was and that's a whole nother conversation, was we
Mm-hmm.
talked about how much we were going to put in the pot for the bills, what we were going to put into the bank, so we could make sure that we had enough for emergencies or what have you. But when it came
Mm-hmm.
to vacation or just buying clothes or furniture and things like that, guess what? It just didn't happen because it happened with me, but he never saved any money. Okay. So I had to make a decision. What I did was I asked him, could he give me extra money every time he got paid? He said yes. So I went and opened up a bank account with our name. Back then, he didn't have to come in and sign and all of that. So I opened up
Mm-hmm.
a bank account with both of our names on it, and I start putting money in there. Okay, so that
Wow.
when vacation time came, we would have money to go on vacation, and he'd be like, "Where you get that money from? Where did that come from?" And I was like, I've been saving. I'd been saving. I didn't tell him that it was the extra money he was giving me.
Extra
I
money,
just
yeah.
said I've been
Mm.
saving. I've been saving, you know. And he said, "Oh, okay, okay." Or if we needed to go buy something, he would say, "Are you still saving?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm still saving." Do we have the money for this? Do we have, there's no reason to fight. And I tell the young married couples, you should have a bank account for your house bill. You should have a checking account to pay
Mm.
the house bills. You should have a savings account for the house. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This is for house emergency. So money should be saved up if something happens that you can pay your bills for the next year. That's what you're saving
Mm-hmm.
towards in a savings account. Then you go get your own checking account and savings account, your own personal checking account and savings account. Let him go get his own checking account and
Checking,
savings
yeah.
account. You don't gotta hide nothing, okay? And you don't have to hide
Mm.
anything. And then figure out how much of the money you guys are gonna put together to make it happen, okay? My husband
Mm.
brought we figured out what the bills were. So I'll give you a number. If the bills were $1,200 a month, okay? All right.
Mm.
He made a lot more money than I did, okay? But we made the decision that uh, half of what I had and half of what he had would go into the checking account and the savings account. Okay. So let's say that maybe he put 600 in, I put 300 in because that was half of what I made, but it paid
Mm.
all of the bills. Now, that what I had left, if I had $300 left, that was my checking and my savings. And I always believed giving to the church because I always wanted to be blessed. Okay, so I always did that.
Yeah.
So we just have to figure those things out, and a lot of marriages go down the drain strictly because of that.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I was just assimilating everything that you were, dishing out because you made mention about in a relationship someone having to die, in order for the relationship to keep moving. And like that's at the beginning could be very, very difficult because everybody, like women, want to be heard. I want to say it. I want to, you can't shut me up and all of that. But it goes beyond all of that. It needs a lot of understanding and maturity. And that's why, from the beginning, marriage is supposed to be meant for mature minds,
Hmm.
mature people. When you are mature upstairs, not just being mature with your age, and from there, you'll be able to tolerate each other. Like I tell people, successful marriages is one that a couple or a partner is able to tolerate each other's shortcomings because we all come from different backgrounds. Like you shared about your husband, he wasn't a saving person, but you were, and you never allowed that to cause issues. Some marriages break up because of that. Oh, I
Yes.
can't stand him. He's spending my money. Yeah, he's wasting money. He's doing this. He's doing that. But you should be able to, come to an agreement and said, okay, this thing has to work. This is what we have to do. This is what we have. And of course, we agree mutually to move on. So, and of course, I know this wouldn't have come from any young couple other than a woman like you who has gone through the process. In fact, you've raised children that are married and they also have, oh wow, you're such a blessing to womanhood. I celebrate you again and again. And did you guys just hear her age? 71, and she's looking like under 30. Woohoo! Wow, don't worry. You're going to come back to tell us the secret sauce to this beauty, ever glowing beauty. I know you told God that you want to age gracefully. Yeah, that's what all of us pray, you know, that we want to age gracefully. But sometimes, life happens, a lot of things, challenges. We are get thrown from one pillar to post, and before you know, you just lose it. But yours has been different. So I know we're going to come back to talk about that. Now, I want us to look at today's age. The young couples that we have tend to define what sparks love, in marriages, attributing some of this to what worldly things like money, like in your own case, in your own marriage, I don't think you allowed money to come in as an issue, whether there was enough or not. But today, I must say, our young couples tend to attribute what love is to money, to having a car, to having exotic homes, and all of that. So, what would be your view on this
Well,
now?
well, for me, I would say if I was talking to a young couple prior to getting married, I would tell them that there are some things that they need to do within the relationship after they marry. So for me, one of the things that I did, my even though my husband was a chef, okay, my husband did not cook at home. Okay, I did all of the cooking.
Hmm.
I was blessed
Mm-hmm.
because my grandmother taught me how to cook from scratch. Okay. So I loved cooking, and that's what I did. My mom had a restaurant and she cooked. So I cooked with her as well. So I love doing that. I clean my own house. I never asked my husband. My husband wasn't a handyman in the house either. Okay.
Mm.
And I always tell people I'll try anything until I figure out I can't do it. Okay. Then I'll stop. All right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I worked in the painting industry for 45 years. Okay. And I retired. So any repairs that were done in the house or outside of the house, guess what? I did those. My husband didn't do them. I didn't hire
Hmm.
anybody. I did it myself. I did all of the painting. I did the plastering. Uh, we
Wow.
we needed concrete work down the side of the house. I tore all that concrete up. I repoured. I did it myself until I could
Woo.
teach my I taught my brother. When my mom passed, my brother came to live with us just like my just like my son, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what
Mm.
I did was I actually started to teach him a lot of the tricks and trades of the industry so I would
Mm.
have help. Okay. My
Mm-hmm.
boys, for some reason, they wanted to be like their dad. They wanted to um cook. They didn't want dirty hands.
Mm.
I'm telling you.
Mm.
But my brother and my middle sons, I had two.
Mm.
That
Mm.
those guys I didn't have to worry about. I could teach them how to do stuff around the house.
Wow.
And that's what it's all about, barbecuing. Like I said, he didn't cook at home. So holidays and what have you, whether it was inside or outside cooking, I did it. Okay, he was my taste tester. And I just didn't get into it with him about it. When you
Mm-hmm.
know what somebody, and those are conversations that you have to have. My husband
Mm-hmm.
told me before we got married, I'm not going to cook all day at work and then come home and cook too. Now, so I knew that going into
Mm-hmm.
the marriage, that's the way it was going to be. I didn't have a problem with that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of days I didn't have to worry about getting up cooking breakfast because he was at work very early in the morning. That was like when we first got married. And
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't there for lunchtime. So all I had to do was just feed the kids and make sure he had dinner on the table. And that
Mm-hmm.
was it. So if you can do, it's got to be a give and take thing. You got to
Mm-hmm.
know what your companion likes, what he doesn't like, and then you have to talk about it and figure it out. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to talk about it, discuss whatever it is, and this discussion has to take place before marriage. So you don't get in there and you get a boss,
Well, they
you
don't do
know.
that anymore, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Like in the case of your husband, like some women will quarrel or fight over the fact that you were cooking. Why didn't you bring lunch home? Why didn't you bring that dinner
Oh,
here? You know?
it don't work that way. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Oh.
that's the reality. Honestly, with some of our young couples that we have today, the women, so many just feel like I should cross my legs and he serves me. That
Oh,
is a proper. In fact, that's a
that
very
does
how
not.
will I put it?
No,
Like
that
a
don't
kind of
work, right?
taboo in the African culture and tradition for
Oh my God.
a woman to just cross her legs and wait for the husband, to put,
Mm-mm.
put food on the table, make your food, and here you are, you're not African, and
Wow.
yet you learned everything, by yourself, and of course through your mom, and you became a wonderful wife material. That I would, if I can use that word. Okay, so all that we have to do is to ensure that we understand ourselves in the relationship, understand what works and what is not working. And that
Mhm.
alone is enough spike to your love when you don't begin to, have frictions over little issues. So now, where do you think our young couples or some couples are getting it wrong in their marriages that, somewhere along the line makes their love go sour? After many years, I know, of course, you must have had a lot of challenges because, of course, it's being said that there's no marriage without issues, there's no marriage without quarrels. So, where do you think, with all your experience in this industry, in this field of marriage, where do you think young couples or some couples are getting it wrong?
I think maybe sometimes they don't spend enough time together.
Okay.
He's doing his thing, she's doing her thing, okay?
Mm,
And when they do come together, it's to go shopping, maybe to go pay bills or something like that, or maybe to a family gathering or something like that, but they're not spending quality time together, okay?
mm,
And I think that has so much to do with it. If you want to hang out with your buddies and things on Saturday, all day Saturday, you want to hang out with your buddies or what have you, then
mm,
take some time aside for me on Friday night before, okay? And then once
mm,
again, it doesn't need to be about sex. I may just want you just to hold me, just tell me how much you love me, how much you care about me. And that's it. That's all we need to do. I may want you to sit down and watch a movie with me and let's eat some popcorn or something, okay? And most of the time, here I'm off to bed anyway. I'm gone, okay? But spend quality time with me like you do with your buddies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And
mm,
then w- don't plan without planning with me. Okay. So a lot of young
mm,
people do that too. They plan their week, they plan their time, they plan their outings, but they don't plan it with their companions. Okay. So now here I am coming saying, hey, look, you know what? They got this, even though we're watching movies and things at home, but I'm just giving you a scenario. They got this movie and I want to go see this movie on Saturday. Oh, but we can't do that because I plan on hanging out with the guys. Oh no, I
mm,
already made plans to do this. What? Well, wait a minute. You didn't come in. We didn't talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
mhm, mhm,
So it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And sometimes, whether it's the male or the female, they just don't get it. They just don't get it.
hmm, hmm. Wow. Thank you so very much because this is a strong pointer that you have given. Planning without your spouse, and of course, spending quality time. Just like you mentioned, the men, I would say, with all fairness to them, of course, I know maybe just a little percentage of women, but the men often are guilty of this, I would say, you know, having more time out with their friends and their buddies, from work to the club, from club coming home late and just having dinner and zoom off. And sometimes the children even find it difficult, to have time to even play with them and all of that. And of course, planning without your spouse. This is a very strong pointer. And I hope somebody out there is learning something from this, because I have seen cases of a man dying, and after his death, his family, his wife does not know about all that he had, like his
Oh my God.
properties, his money, and all of that, and they begin to suffer. The children suffer, the wife suffers, in fact, with nothing, because the wife was not aware of what the husband was doing with his money and where his money was going, where he was saving it, and all of that. And some men in Africa would say, "Now, I don't want her to know my dealings, because that will bring me down before her." And I begin to wonder, where did such mentality come from? Where did such mindset come from? That if you open up too much for a woman, that means she won't respect you any longer. That is hell
That's
no.
it's not just in Africa. That's all over. That's just
Are you
men
serious? No, no, no.
general.
I
That's
think
just
it's
men in
domiciled.
I'm telling you, it's just men in
Mm.
general. They just feel like they can th- I don't know, hide out. But why? Why? I don't know if they think that maybe the wife is going to ask for more than what they're
Mhm.
contributing or what have you. But if you've already sit down prior to the relationship or during after marriage and you sit down and you go over those things, you you don't that's stuff you don't have to worry about. You only worry about it because you haven't talked about it or you haven't told the truth about it, okay?
Mhm.
Now you
Telling the
worry
truth.
the truth is gonna
Mhm.
come out, okay? So now I don't want her to know, all about my business and what I got and well, wait a minute, what the heck? Me and my son was talking about that a few minutes ago. He was talking to a friend on the phone and he said, I'm not trying to hide what my salary is. My wife knows what my salary is. My mom knows what my salary is. Why would I hide it? What for? I take care of the house. I make sure all the bills and things are paid. And my wife buys everything else that we need. So I don't need to hide anything. If she comes up short, I just give her what she needs. Well, I'm
Mm.
listening. I'm like, okay, okay, that makes
Wow.
sense. But
That's a wonderful man out there.
you know what?
Mm.
That is what I teach my sons. Okay, that's why I say that you need to have your own. let them have their own, and then have that that is for the house. Okay, then nobody
Mm-hmm.
comes up short. Nobody comes up short.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. So discussion, it's paramount in any successful relationship. Discuss before you go into it, discuss as you keep going. Discussion shouldn't be far from you, you know, spending time together. Of course, for those that was married in church, the Bible was, I think the priest would say, for better, for worse, you were drawn from your father, your mother to be joined together. So, what happens after the wedding day? You're no longer joined together in everything. You're only joined together at some time, at some point, only maybe in the bedroom. And after that, everybody goes their different ways. That is absolutely wrong if you are in this act as a man or a woman, because funny enough, we have some women that are, well, okay, I will not say anything, but if you're in this act, it is time for you to change so that you can have a more beautiful and happy home. So now, ma'am,
Absolutely.
okay, go ahead.
Well, what I'm thinking is that we need to get back to the pastors before we start marrying people. We need to get back to them coming in prior to and having them sit down. I remember it's God, it's got to be 40 years ago, but I remember a young man and a lady coming into my mom because my mom was a pastor
Okay.
prior to them getting married, and come to find out they were cousins. They were there for counseling before they got married, got married, and come
Hmm.
to find out they were first cousins. Okay,
Wow.
so it pays. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for them to just sit down and be counseled. My son is a is an elder, so he's been ordained to marry people as well. And a couple came to him and they wanted him to marry them. Okay, and because he said, "I don't marry people unless they come into counsel with me. Are you coming into counsel?" They said, "No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no." He said, "Well, I can't marry you then." So, you know,
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay." So, I young folks, I just send them to him. Send them to him. Send me the old folks, you
A
know.
lot. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I can let me deal with them, and then let him deal with the young folks, okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
he's super smart, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he carries loads and loads of wisdom. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
For him to be ordained as an elder would have been a lot of wisdom invested in him. All
Oh,
right. Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you, mom. So now I want to take you back. I know this may
Okay.
be a bit emotional because oh, your husband is not here. I'm sorry if it may, they feel, some of it, we need to talk about this. And, what with the things you did that kept your love life going to the
Oh, God.
point where you are? Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I one thing is I don't wear raggedy t-shirts or
You
run
don't wear what?
raggedy t-shirts.
Okay.
You know how you go to bed in those old worn out, dingy t-shirts and gowns and stuff, and run over house shoes. None of that. None of that. None, no,
Okay.
I never done any of that. All right. I
Mm-hmm.
always bought good looking lingerie because I wanted to not only look good to him, but I wanted to look good to myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Sure.
at 71, I still got some of that. I bought pajamas, but in I bought sexy pajamas. Okay,
Woo!
so
Did
yeah,
you hear that? At
so
71, sexy, sexy
sexy. That's
pajamas.
right,
Mhm.
sexy. You got to be confident in the skin you're in, whether you big, small, or what have you. You look. I know one thing that I have. I have large hips and I got a big butt. Okay, but I ain't shame of them. Okay, so
No, you can't. You can't. You should
no.
be proud.
Yeah, I am, girl. People are paying for what I got.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so but I do that, and even in the clothes that I wear, I don't I mean, I'm not wearing teenage clothes or anything like that, but I'm
Mm,
not wearing clothes that my grandmother would have worn, okay, at my age.
mm,
I just don't,
mm,
okay. I want to look good all the time, okay. I moisturize from the head to the toe. Every morning I moisturize this body of mine, okay? And
mm.
I wear makeup. At one time I didn't have to wear makeup, and when I'm not online or I'm just out about or what have you, I don't wear makeup. But when I come on, I wear makeup, or if I um uh my if like my husband's love life was at night. My love life was in the morning, okay? So, we weren't connected at all, okay? And it was that way for 52 years, okay?
Wow.
So, but what I would do would be like, I remember buying this red lingerie, the gown and the house
Mm,
coat, and just in the morning time, and I didn't wear that night, but I went in the bathroom and I put it on, and I came
mm.
back and I pushed the door open and I wrapped one leg around the door. I didn't look in. I just wrapped the leg around the door, and I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything, and then I kind of halfway slid in, and
Okay, now.
you know, I was kind of playing around with him, and then he was like, "Get on in here, girl," So, so things like that. Or I remember I was in the kitchen cooking. We had an argument, and he wasn't talking to me, so I was in
Mm,
the kitchen cooking, and it was in the wintertime. I went and
mhm.
put on some shorts, and I went and got me a t-shirt and tore up the t-shirt and tied it up and everything and put the t-shirt on, and I was in the kitchen cooking, okay? And I remember I opened the oven door and I felt somebody behind me and I jumped, okay? But it was him. It was him behind me, okay? But
Yeah.
I did it on purpose because I never wanted to go to bed where we were mad. I
Mhm,
believe I can say out of 52 years, I don't believe my children ever heard us argue or fight in 52
mm.
years, okay? He never
Wow.
called me out of my name. I've never called him out of his name in 52 years. We
Mm,
now I understand we didn't get mad enough that we could duke
mhm.
it up. We didn't duke it up. We didn't, he did that one time when we first got married. He slapped me.
Wow.
And I said to him, if you ever lift your hand again to hit me, I will cut it off, and
You cut it out.
I will cut it off and I will pin it on the wall over your head. I never had that
Mm.
problem again. Never, never again. I said,
Wow.
Whatever goes on between me and you, we should be able to talk about it. You will not raise your hands to me. Okay.
Mm,
And
mm.
what he didn't know was I was a fighter. I fought all through high school with my because of my brothers, I fought for them. So I was a tomboy. So
Woo.
I didn't have a problem with fighting, okay? And I don't know, we might have been married maybe a couple of years or so. So he really didn't know me well, but I would fight and I carried a knife. So I'd cut you. I'd cut you bad too.
Wow, this is
But
interesting.
but
Wow.
I mean, I could have turned sour after that slap and everything, but we came to an understanding. That's something that he knew, and that's what he had came from. Okay, I didn't come from that. I saw my dad, not my dad, but my stepfather, my mom fight. You know, through just growing up. And I had already said, no man will ever lay his hands on me. I will
Amen.
not have that.
Mm.
So I was, oh no, buddy, we ain't going there. No, I'll leave first. But I never had that. We never had to go through that again.
Yeah, it's always good for women to actually know who they are and what they want. Before you go into marriage, what kind of marriage do you want? What kind of a man do you want? And when you know that, it will also guide you to be able to reject what you don't want when it comes. Like you you talked about when he first, the first time he hit you, and you were able to, tell him right there and then that this is not what I bargained for. Don't ever try that again. And somewhere along the line, we've seen women in marriages that just, because I love him, I believe he will change. You just stomach in everything, just allow it in, and before you know it, it's getting out of hand, and of course, resulting into what they can't handle any longer. So, but it's good for us to know what we want. And then I won't forget that area where you talk about the being sexy and being comfortable, you know, with your skin. Be comfortable, because that's where it starts from. Love love yourself first, love you first. And when once you do that, it will be easy for anyone around you to agree with what you have agreed with yourself. You take care of
Absolutely.
you. Take care of
Absolutely.
you.
I believe that when women get to a point where they're no longer satisfied with how they look, it's a very big problem. And we have to. How do you expect for someone else to love you when you don't love yourself? So when I was doing a teaching a course called Reinventing Yourself in Midlife, and one of those courses, it talks about not worrying so much about how much you weigh, but let us figure out how to maintain what you already have. Let's make sure you
Mm-hmm.
don't gain any more weight. So let's maintain that until you
Mm.
figure out exactly what you need to do to pull the weight off that you want to get
Off.
rid of. Okay.
Mm.
So, and that's basically it, and it's just so simple. We in the last 3 years, we've all sit home, we've gained weight that we really didn't want because we're eating, we're not moving around as much. Okay. Some people are naturally just thin. Okay. But those of us that are not naturally thin, we have to figure out a way to maintain what we have and then work on losing the weight. But like I say, you have to. I remember a show that I saw on TV, and the guy wanted a divorce. He wanted a divorce because he wanted his wife to lose weight because he said she had gotten too big. She shared some of the same things that I'm sharing with you, how she had went out for brand new negligees and stuff like that to entice. And he was like, she doesn't entice me. She's just too big. Well, you know what? You should have saw him. You if you'd have looked at him, you're like, "What the heck? What is he talking about? He needs to lose weight. He need to get his self in
Mm-hmm.
order."
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
he wanted that. He didn't want that. I call it the milk jug woman. He wanted the Coca Cola woman. Okay, that's what he wanted. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
just because he wanted the Coca Cola woman didn't mean that she was the best thing for him. You know, so, and I was rooting for her, and I was like, let it, and like you said, sometimes even though relationships are abusive, whether it be verbal or physical, okay, women still stay in it saying that they can make the men change. Okay, I can
Mm-hmm.
change this relationship, I can change how he sees me, I just need a little time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't try to talk people out of it. I've been connected with women like that, and I've even heard their husbands tell them, I don't want you running with her, you can't be with her, or what have you. And I tell them that is so okay with me. That is so
Mm.
okay. I said, you're here with your husband. You got to do what he says do. He doesn't want you. You
Yeah.
know why he doesn't want you with you? Because my husband doesn't dictate to me the way yours does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God
Mm-hmm.
he didn't. Okay. I say, I am my own woman. I say, but obviously you are not. But when you become your own woman, you look me up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be okay. I don't tell them
Wow.
to get out of the relationship. I don't tell them don't let them beat you up, because it's wasted. It's wasted
Waste
conversation.
of time.
It's
Mm, yeah.
wasted. When they decide to get out, they will get out. Okay,
Yeah.
you won't have to say
Mm-hmm.
anything. Okay.
Yeah, especially when they claim to be in love. The love is, driving me crazy. I can't live without him. And you can live with the punches. All right. So thank you so very much for this powerful conversations that we are having around love, and I am learning so much. And I won't forget that aspect of taking care of you, and of course doing some sexy loving things, in the bedroom. All right, so now I want to take you back now, but I want you to share the juicy nuggets from the viewers out there, from the married couples out there. How can they be very intentional in their relationships with their spouse? Making it work regardless of what they may be going through, because of course every relationship has its ups and downs. So how can they make it really work in their love life?
I would say it starts with them, that one person, whoever is listening or whoever wants to change the relationship. And it comes down to, I would tell them, get a journal, get a, and write down what's wrong. What is wrong with the relationship? Okay.
Hmm.
And a lot of times when we start analyzing the relationship, we'll find out that it's not all him or it's not all her. A lot of it has to do with us, how we perceive stuff, how we do stuff, the things that we say. Sometimes we say things and we really don't understand how we've said it, or how what we've said has hurt someone in a
Hmm.
relationship. So you got to figure out, okay, so what do I need? Okay, I know that this is the problem. Okay, whether it
Hmm.
be he's not bringing his paycheck home to pay the bills anymore. Okay,
Hmm.
we're not having any more intimate relationships anymore. Okay, he's not spending time with me anymore. Okay, now something that he's never done before, he's verbally beginning to abuse me.
To do that.
What started it? When did it start? And what
Hmm.
started it? So now what needs to change? So we're writing all this down. What needs to change? Okay. And
Hmm.
when will you change it? Does the change start with you, or does the change start with him?
With him.
Okay.
Hmm.
And you have to figure that out. Where does the change start? Okay. So it's just like with me and my husband, we went through about, my husband was really, really jealous. And when I really got into church, and he wasn't really into church, but he started going. And a lot of the churches, as I was coming along, was full of men. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, the pastors, the deacons, or what have you. And I'm working in the church, and he's jealous because I'm coming in contact with a lot of the men. Okay.
Man.
So I had to sit down. One of the deacons said, "Your husband told me to stay away from you." I said, "Say what?" He told me, stay away from you. I couldn't believe it. I didn't
He
go
was
back.
protecting his he was protecting his property.
Yeah. I didn't go back and ask him, but what I did was I wrote it down. On this particular day, my husband went and he told this deacon to stay away from me. So then I started to write, when did I notice that he was jealous of the men within the church? And I started writing it down. So, what is he jealous of? What am I doing that's causing him to be jealous? Okay. So, I'm
Mm,
laughing and I'm talking with these men. But here's the thing. I worked in a painting industry with men. When we got ready to repaint the church, we got ready to do repairs on the church or what have you, I was always in charge. That always put me into connection with men and stuff.
mm,
And that's where it started at. So once I had all of that wrote down and I figured it out, then I had to go down and sit and talk to him and say, hey, look, okay, I'm not going anywhere. All right. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to do anything. Okay. So you don't have to worry about it. So I had to have a conversation. Once I figured out what was going on, I had to have that conversation with him. But then I had to listen to what it was he was saying. And he said, I think that you are just getting too close to these men. And I don't like it. And I said,
mhm.
okay, what do you mean too close? You're laughing, you're talking with them. I see you
You're
sitting,
hugging them.
I see you sitting with them or what have you. And so then I had to say, well, what is acceptable to you? What is acceptable to you? I got to come in contact with these guys. So what do we do now? And we talked about it and I figured it out. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so that's the just like I said, discussion, having a conversation with your partner is key always,
It is.
always.
It
Before
is.
you get in, as you're journeying, in the relationship, that mustn't be something that you think about. It is something that you must practice day in, day out. And Pastor Dorothy has mentioned it. Get a journal and write out what's wrong and start the search from you, because sometimes we just want to throw blames and want to accuse the other person of not doing this right, not doing that right, and we fail to look back into ourselves, to find out what we are actually not also doing right, that may be putting the other person off. So it is key that you be very intentional, and that's why we are saying we're talking about intentional, not just doing it because somebody asked you to, or you just want to do it. You're doing it because you want it to work. You're very intentional. You want a change. You want to enjoy your marriage. It's not about managing. A lot of marriages just go by management. Let me just be here. I don't know how it is over there, but we have a lot of marriages down here where, because of the children, let me just be here. No matter what, let me just be here. And we find out that there's a lot of emotional trauma, in such homes, and sometimes result into so many conflicts at home that the man or the woman prefers to stay out, prefers, to, like in the case of a man, will just move on with a side chick or
No,
get another wife.
I hear you. I hear you. I talked to someone a couple of years ago that was going through the same identical thing. He was just at home because of the kids. And he said, Dorothy, I can't take it any longer. I just can't do it. I said, so what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to move out. I said, really? I said, okay. I said, let me ask you two questions. He said, what? I said, do you stay at work rather than go home and you're off the clock? And he said, yeah, I do that a lot of times. I said, wow. I said, okay. I say, so when you're at home, I said, you off by yourself or do you spend time with your wife? He said, man, I go lock up. I said, oh, wow. I'm
So
laughing, but it's not funny. It's not
no,
funny.
it's not.
It's
It's not funny
sad.
at
It's
all.
sad to be in a place where you hate to be. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it should be that way, but I also believe that we need to prepare ourselves. When you know it's going south and you can't turn it around, it's time to have a conversation and figure out what you need to do. I think a lot of people stay in relationships not only because of the kids, it's because they're in debt and they can't afford to be on their own by themselves.
Mhm.
Some people are just afraid to be alone after being with
Because
some.
of what people will say, the society, the family, the
Yep,
stigma.
yep,
You have left first
yep,
husband, second husband. No, 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 I'm not going to do
woo,
that again. Let me stay in here and die there.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
All
It
right.
is so true. Wow.
So we are already at the top of the hour. The conversation has been so thrilling, so insightful. I wish we could go on and on and on and talk about this. Open up the books. If we are to open up the books, the chapter for the man, for the woman, you will look back and of course begin to learn from your mistakes. And all this is to ensure that you change to become a better you in your
Yes.
home, in
Yeah.
your marriage, in your dealings, with yourself. So
ab-
now, Pastor Dorothy, you're going to share with us your words of wisdom to my married couples out there.
I,
Few
you know what?
words of
I
wisdom.
would just say that make the time for each other. Make the time. Regardless of what you're doing or regardless of what's going on, you know, just like we pencil birthdays and anniversaries and things on the calendar, why not just pencil some personal time with your companion on the calendar? Okay, just set the time aside and then don't put anything else in that space and spend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hey, you know what? For at least an hour on Monday, I'm going to sit down and we're going to watch a movie together. I saw this movie. Let's talk about different movies and then sit down and start watching them. I used to watch My husband is a wrestling fanatic, okay? And
Oh, wow.
I watched wrestling with him for years until our kids got up where they could watch wrestling with him. And even after they started doing it, I would still pop in for a few minutes and say, "Who is that? Who is that? Oh, I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember that one or what have you." I didn't care, but I didn't let him know that I wasn't so uninterested that I couldn't spend a little time with him. And that's what it's
Mm-hmm.
all about. If you
Yeah.
got don't let it always be about bedtime, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to always be that, okay? Laying in the bed, just watching a movie and just having a conversation, listening at some music or something, dancing around the house, just for a few minutes, you'd be surprised at the difference it would make.
Wow. Wow. So you have to be ready to shift grounds, you know, accept with your partner even some of those things that you ordinarily, do not like. Like for me, before I got married, I wasn't like I'm talking about. I want to talk about food now. I wasn't a fan of eating beans, but my husband loves beans. So I had to begin to learn, even though it wasn't my thing, and up till now it's not my thing. But when once we prepare, we have that on the timetable, and we prepare it, I have to eat with love.
Yes, yes.
Even though sometimes we talk about it that this is not what I love, but I just keep on flowing with it.
That's it. Let me
So,
put plenty of rice. Let me put plenty of rice on the side and very few beans.
mhm.
I love me some rice. So yeah, it's always a way
So
to compromise and
yeah, it
yeah.
has been so educative with all that you've shared with us. Thank you so very much for turning up once again on the show and
Thank you.
sharing your wealth of knowledge on the family line. And now, before we call it a day, I know you are all about events, programs for women, for everybody. What do you have coming up, Pastor Dorothy?
Well, what I have coming up is becoming a woman of influence. Coming up July the 29th at 12 p.m. Central to 2 p.m. Central. We've got four keynote speakers, four panelists, and of course, I love to play games. So we're going
Mm-hmm.
to have a little time left over for game time. So just keep it in mind. Um, and one of our keynote speakers is going to be the gorgeous Shirley Murphy. I am so
Woohoo!
excited. I'm so excited. It's gonna be
I am too.
amazing. Becoming a woman of influence is very important because we need to live a personal life, a business life, and a spiritual life that influences others to be good, do the best
Positively.
that they can, and to love God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for this event. So join us July the 29th. Okay.
I am excited too. So I want to put the I want to put here for you viewers to go ahead, click on the link, the Eventbrite link, so you can be a part of this upcoming event. Register
Absolutely.
at Eventbrite. Okay, I think that's the correct one. Oh, hold on now. I'm trying to get the link.
Let me give you another one.
Okay. Okay. All right. So here is the link. Okay. So you go ahead and register for becoming a woman of influence. There's going to be a lot to learn. There's going to be a lot. True life stories will be shared to inspire you to becoming your you, to making and impacting lives around you, because you must start your work from around you, not planning to start from the skies. You must start from around you. And Pastor Dorothy Ross is the founder of Porch Talk Life Worldwide, and she
Yes.
has been, bringing phenomenal people on the porch, to share their stories to impact more lives. And it has been a blessing once again to have you on the show, Pastor. And
Thank you
thank you
so much.
so very
Thank
much.
you so much.
And I know we're still going to have you back, because the love stories that you share, even at your age, is so I'm still learning. So, and of course, I want to be like you as I grow older. Of course, no. I can't be backward now when you, my mentor, you are sparkling. And of course, I'm going to get there
I
with
know.
you around. All right, people. That's all we can take in today's episode of the show. I hope you were able to grasp all the points. And of course, work on your relationship. Be very intentional. Call your partner, discuss things, have a conversation when the children are not there, and ensure that no matter what happens, you get it working. And if it's not working, well, you know what to do. Okay, so thank you so very much. See you next time.